Hello folks, today is our last day in the Pine Tree State here on our New England excursion. We gotta go back the way we came from sometime, so let's make our last day here in Maine count. And today I've brought you all here to the capital city of Maine, Augusta. Now, compared to the other capital cities in New England that we visited so far, Hartford and Connecticut, Providence and Rhode Island, Augusta, Maine is a bit different, that it more resembles a very small town than a big bustling city. And I kind of like that. And for a change, we actually get to walk around in a place that's very peaceful rather than, speed walk through the streets trying to get every little thing done. Today, it's more of just a mellow, relaxing day. The region we're here in Augusta, Maine right now is actually a little bit northward, away from the coast. We're in a different region. I guess this region is called the Kennebec River Valley. And the Kennebec River is a mighty river that stretches quite a bit away. I'll get to that later, but this Kennebec River Valley that we're in is the home of Augusta, Maine. This capital city in Augusta is not really that populated. Only just under 20,000 people live here, and it could be because we're a little bit away from the Maine coast. But that doesn't stop people from settling here. People may think this area of Maine is rather frontier, rugged, and woodland, and to a certain extent it is, but once you get into places like Augusta, you see that lots of things are built up, such as, of course, the Capitol building. Let's go check that out. This is the Maine State House from the public entrance. Usually I have a tendency to enter these Capitol buildings from the back and then have to go all the way around. I wanted to be smart this time and go to the front first before really talking about the Capitol building. So look at this thing. It's not huge like other big royal style complexes in other states, but the state capitol still holds a strong foundation. You know it's there, it's a solid building. And I guess this state capitol sort of reflects the air of Maine, if you will. It's a solid building, but it has no real decorative properties on the outside. There is that dome, and that's probably the most decorated and ornate part of the building, with that golden figure on top. But for most of it, it's more practical than to show off, which I do appreciate. I like a state that really knows how to be practical without showing off. Alright, we are inside. Let's see what we can find at the Maine Capitol building. Well, it was pretty apparent there were a lot more portraits than in the Capitol buildings I've observed in the past. And it's really cool. They pay tribute to all the former governors, senators, I'm sure, of Maine. Wouldn't you say, though, that the back looks a lot more elegant, ready for a photo or video to be taken of it than the front? I'd say so. With all the flowers along the steps and it just being a nice open space. What's real nice about Augusta, Maine is that their state capitol building is right next to its own little capitol park. We are right here, beautiful sight of trees and nice walkable paths. And on that side is that Kennebec River that I was talking to you about. Let's go find it and really figure out what it looks like. Well, that's a darn shame. We're gonna have to figure out how to get to the river, because it's right over that road. Nothing like a good old adventure through the weeds here. So we were finally at the bank of the Kennebec River. As you can see, it was quite a journey just to get down here to the real edge. But take a look at this pristine river beauty. Just admire for a second, not just how it looks, but the cleanliness of it. It is so clear you can see the reflection of the buildings over there, and you don't really see that often, rivers with such purity. In the modern age, all these industries are dumping their products into the river, and it makes it just so dirty. But it kind of makes sense in the state of Maine, where one, they respect nature a lot more, and two, there isn't as much of an urban vibe around here, that the Kennebec River is just, it looks so clean. That's all I can really say about it. Now, where the river flows right now here in Augusta, we're not away from society and civilization completely, but it starts where there is just nothing, in a place called Moosehead Lake in the northern central part of Maine. And for around 160, 170 miles, it just flows down the center of Maine, and the river doesn't stop until it reaches the Gulf of Maine, the large body of water named after the state of Maine. What a pretty sight to behold. Maine, it seems like you have it all, with the nature and the way you're keeping it clean. It's a wonderful thing to have. I think it's time I get back up onto solid paved ground. Back in a familiar place, the Capitol Park in Augusta. I gotta say, through my experiences in Maine, I have not had one unpleasant experience with the weather. Sure, yesterday it was raining just a little bit, and today it probably will rain just a little bit, but who cares? It's the perfect temperature, I guess perfect humidity. They don't lie when they say, well, Maine has only a few months of good weather, but when you hit those good months, they're great. We're a good portion into this video and we haven't even seen downtown Augusta. We should probably go there now. Nothing like a good old New England downtown, full of brick buildings, and what's that? Even a stone building up ahead that looks like a castle. This place seems like a very, very old downtown area, full of history. So much so that on every block or so I see these. Augusta, Maine, the museum in the streets. It has the number of the attraction. This one being the castle-looking stone building, which, I don't know, is it what it says? It's a post office building? That's so interesting. But yeah, this is this historic relic of a city, Augusta, Maine. Did you expect high-rise skyscrapers like a lot of other state capitals? I did, until I did a bit of research and was surprised at how low the population is and how much of a laid-back town vibe this place gives off. So yeah, this is Augusta, the city where dreams come true. Unless you were living in the year 1865, that's when a great fire happened. And back then, a lot of the buildings were made of wood, so you can guess what happened. The buildings sadly burned down. A lot of businesses had to start from scratch. But it seems like in the years since, this city has recovered and it looks very nice. Oh, look at those colorful buildings. But I love the preservation of these old-style buildings. Another grand look at the mighty Kennebec River. Still so clean and pure. Looks even more clean and pure from up here on this bridge that we're on. Like many of the cities in the Northeast United States, Augusta here was a mill town where there was a lot of manufacturing and factories and all that jazz. What's this right here? Did I take a trip down memory lane back in time? No. We're just at Old Fort Western. Very glad they preserved this thing. Or rather restored, you know what I mean. Like, they're gonna have all this fencing just as the way it was 200 years ago? Oh no, not at all. But let's see if we can get inside.
It takes a ball, we don't have any, slightly smaller than the golf ball, or you could just load a handful of musket, big one, the range is a mile. This is bar shot, and this is grape shot. They're really designed for naval engagements, and the ships don't come this far up the river. If I was a soldier, I'll go through this real quick. Shoulder arms was always on the left side. The cartridge case is here. The command's prime and low, so you come down, go to half cock, take the cartridge, rip it open with your teeth, dump the powder in, close the prison down, dump the rest of the powder in the barrel, put that ball in there, take this rammer out, come back to this position, and get the command make ready, cock it, you point, you present your fire. I'm going to point the floor, it's going to make a weak spark. Yeah, very weak spark. It ignites the powder in the pan, gets in the barrel, shoots a bullet out. You couldn't shoot that now, it's raining. That's where keep your powder dry comes from. That. Make sure there's nothing in there. So put that powder charge right in there. So you take the rammer, run it down there, and then it'll be ramming around. So you take the cannonball and put it down there, and then put it in there. You punch a hole into it. The gunner's off to one side. When he gets command, when he meet all the protocols, he'll get the command fire, he'll touch it. It'll burn down, shoot it. They'll kick out the wedges. The two matrosses will pull that back, clear the vent, search the piece. You've shot it.
Now, during the time of the French and Indian War, although the war was mainly fought in the Ohio country, western Pennsylvania, a bit of West Virginia, right here in Augusta, Maine, there was a fort to make sure that the British outpost, the British controlled this area at the time, held the upper ground. This was such an interesting experience, just to go through what a restored fort complex would look like. So yeah, this is what I have for you today in Augusta, Maine. I think Augusta is such a wonderful little city. It has enough to do for one day, so you're not bored, but it's also not this big sprawling urban center, because that's also annoying at times too. Once again, we find ourselves at the Kennebec River. Let me get away from the car so it's not as noisy for our conclusion. Away from all of the tourist traps that you might see in coastal Maine, if you go a little bit into the interior of Maine, you'll find this lovely little city. I would definitely suggest you all take a visit and experience the historic charm that Augusta has to offer. From the capital to the fort to the downtown area, and in the middle of it all, you get to see this beautiful river. Come to Augusta, Maine, everyone. So, before it rains too hard, because I do gotta walk back to my car that's parked somewhere, right along the shore of, do you call it a shore if it's a river? I don't know. But along the shore of this Kennebec River in Augusta, Maine, more travels to come. I will see you at the next location. Goodbye, Maine. I will miss you dearly.